Hey everybody, how's it going? Hopefully you guys are enjoying the mid-spring speed fling so far. I am Peter, aka TRSCrazyP. With me on commentary, I do have Jay. He is one of the developers of the game.
Hey, how's it going?
And he's going to help me with commentary. I'm not that good at it, so he'll cover that. I'll chime in when I can. First thing I want to say, though, is... do we have a total on how much was raised for this incentive here, this bid war?
Yeah, I know that during the intermission my audio was cutting out quite a bit, but we've just had this crazy bid war going back and forth between Quantum Zari and Bob Sheezy to name the seed. So let me just get I'm going to do a quick refresh and get the final totals for you.
All right, so we do have it closed. Thank you guys. Seriously, what the heck? That's insane.
Okay, so let me read those off to you then. Just let me scroll down the page here. So I'll start with like the you know just for like a normal bid war, this would be fantastic. But we raised.
Oh no, it cut out.
There we
again.
go. It moved. They're like separated from each other now. So we raised $21 just for the character name. The winner is Orange Juice with a space.
Right,
$11
okay.
to $10.
All right.
I mean, and then the big one was the seed name. The winner was Bop Sheezy.
All right.
Capital
Bob.
BOPSHEEZI. And that was $350 over
That's
Dakota,
insane.
which was $302. And then we had Orange Juice with $26 and Sex Rex with $2. So yeah, that's about just a little bit under $700 raised, which is just incredible. Thank you so much, everybody.
You guys are insane. Thank you so much for that. All right. Well, I guess with that, we can go and get this started. I'll try to give you guys a countdown. The game has. So let me explain the game a little bit here. This is Lenna's Inception. It's over here. Sorry. Random generation based on seed names, so the name actually does kind of matter. I have no idea what I'm going to be playing here today. Zelda-like 2D game, as you can probably already see by the graphics here. Jay's going to be taking over commentary here in a little bit. I guess to start, though, I do want to mention at the start of the game, there's the classroom that has the different students in it. That's going to tell us our boss order. Sort of like, I think Binding of Isaac kind of does that. If that matters to you, but we're going fast, so it doesn't really matter at all. Whoops. Let me spell this right. Paige and Bop Sheezy. Shout outs to everyone for donating. Make sure I spelled that right, yes.
I believe the name was Orange Juice.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let me go back here. Let me restart here. We don't get to see good girl Paige then, I guess, for the name. How could I forget Orange Juice? There we go. Thank you, Kevin, for that donation, by the way. All right, Orange Juice and Bop Sheezy. This should all be right. And then I guess I'm ready. I'll try to say go for the on-stream timer. Mine's already going. Hold on. All right, you guys all set then?
Yep.
All right.
Let's go.
And start the timer. Now.
And here we go. So yeah, as our runner, TRSCP has pointed out, this opens in kind of a classroom scene, and for reasons I'll try not to spoil too much, the boss order is implied by the order of characters on the desk, on each desk. So Lenna's Inception, this is kind of like a Zelda-like, in this kind of randomized world. If you're familiar with kind of ROM randomizers, I know Link to the Past is a big popular kind of randomizer that people run right now. you kind of have an understanding of where this is going here. So it's a Zelda-like where the order of dungeons is determined by an item order that is generated at the start of the game, and going forward, the world is generated around that item order. It might be a little clearer as you go on. So yeah, you might notice that the town elder is unfortunately deceased.
Yeah, there's a lot of tropes in this game.
Yeah,
References to other video games.
Yeah, so for the history of this game, so this is 99% of this game is developed by my colleague Tom. He developed this over the course of about 8 years. It started off as kind of a project of like, hey, how could someone generate procedurally a Zelda overworld? And then it kind of spilled out and became like a full game and a full project. And yeah, so the premise is that you are Lenna, who is kind of an NPC in a fantasy Zelda-like world. You're not the hero. The hero is Lance, who you're just kind of helping out.
Yeah,
he's just kind of a tutorial.
He's gone.
Okay, so yeah, Lance is gone. At this point, Lenna, who's kind of proactive, takes over and plays the part of the hero as you would. That causes some issues with the game within the nature of the game. You'll see. Things get a little bit weird from here on out as the story of this fantasy adventure tries to play out, whilst the hero is unceremoniously dead on the floor of the first dungeon.
Yeah, it starts out pretty common, you know, hop into a dungeon, kill the boss, but then as the game goes on, it just gets weirder and weirder. Right here, I just want to point out this is the first use of the bike here. We can use that when and where we want. And that just kind of helps us fast travel around the map. And let's just skip the cutscene you guys will see here in a little bit.
Yeah, and as you just mentioned, there's a bunch of homages. The first boss is kind of a homage to the Flail Knight. It's kind of like a mini boss in the first area of Link to the Past, if you're familiar. And there's just a ton of, I think a lot of the jokes in this game are puns. I think it's fair to say. I know Tom is a big pun guy.
Yeah, he is. All right, and there's our first cutscene skip. Unfortunately, we're not going to watch those. The game does have a pretty deep story, actually, but we're going fast and we skip all of it. So now that I'm out of the first dungeon, the first thing that we usually do, well, we got to go talk to Good Girl Paige, and then we're going to go buy a tunic, which those are also randomly assigned different colors and such.
Yeah, so there's tunics and potions in the game, and potions are kind of like one use, and tunics are kind of like persistent, and they all have a pool of kind of like buffs and effects, such as like fire resistance, you know, speed, strength. But because of the randomized nature of the game, you don't actually know when and where you'll get certain tunics and potions. We'll be heading over to the merchant in the first town, right?
Yep. You're heading there right now. Ooh,
yeah.
Okay, Phoenix Ash.
Okay, that that's a good get. So again, the order of items that you can get changes, and like where you get things will change. So how this run will play out, we don't quite know. It's exciting to see.
So I got the fire resistance tunic, which is actually fantastic. We're gonna need that for the final fight in the game. Actually, there's kind of a little bit of cheese we found. Turns out that the final boss's attacks are mostly fire based, so
yeah,
we can negate every piece of damage from them. So that is handy. And now I just have to kind of find my way through the map here. Again, this is all randomly generated, so I have no idea where I'm going.
Yeah, so it kind of it knows what order of items it's going to use for the progression of the story run through, and then kind of like forms a map and then places obstacles around that. So you'll be on the opposite end of like the final dungeon, and then certain obstacles will be in your way. Examples would be there'll be breakable rocks that you can only break if you get the bombs, and so on and so forth. So there's some kind of like Zelda style world obstacles. that tie in with the dungeons.
Can I pop in really quick with a couple more donations?
Feel free.
Yes, sounds good.
Awesome. So we've got a $50 donation from Black Ice the Game with the comment Team Orange.
Oh my gosh, Team Orange shoutouts.
We've got an anonymous $25 donation that just says, "Hey Pete, James says hi."
What up?
And then we've got a $100 donation from Tetrali, hope I said that right, that says, "So excited to see TRS running the marathon debut of Lenna's Inception. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Jay, for the wonderful game." And we are already almost to $2,400. Your community is showing up and showing out today for this game, so thank you so much for that.
That's so
Yeah,
crazy. Seriously.
The Lenna community has been honestly fantastic. The game kind of lends itself well to speedrunning. We kind of encourage it, and there's some kind of speedrun modes. Just like off the bat, as well as like the story mode. There's like kind of like dungeon runs, and you can generate like kind of one run through kind of playthroughs, and there's kind of leaderboards for those as well. So we've kind of been like kind of encouraging the community, and everyone's been great. Bob Sheezy is a member of our community, and I'm really pleased to see everyone turn out for this. It's exciting.
Yeah, I do a fair number of randomizers myself, so I always love it when we do showcase runs like this, and you see all the familiar faces coming out and showing their love and support for the game. So this has been a lot of fun already just to see this. So good job, everybody.
It's probably worth mentioning at this point, the dungeon item from this dungeon is the fish shorts, and they basically let you swim through water, pretty straightforward. Which means that when it comes to the overworld, you can now get past the lakes and rivers and so on that kind of generate in the world.
First item,
and of course help you fight dolphins.
And luckily we have this boss early. So after Dungeon 3, bosses have 2 phases. And fortunately this one's early because this boss has a long second phase. So they have a little bit of time there.
Yeah.
We'll get more into the phases later.
Yeah, it might be a bit clearer why that's the case later on.
And again, unfortunately, we are skipping all of the lore, all of the cutscenes. But they're all fantastic.
I think the origin for this boss that has just gone, Sandolphin, is so all the bosses in this are called archangels, and all of their names are derived from kind of like Abrahamic religion-based angel names from theology. And this one was a pun on an angel called Sandalphon. And I think the pun came first, and we designed a dolphin around it because that's how we like to operate.
Hey, if it works, right?
It works, yeah.
All right, again, just using the bike here just to kind of move around a little bit faster. Get through some rooms. What is it in Pokemon? There's a time and place for everything when you try to use the bike
But not
inside.
now, yeah.
Yeah, but not now.
We also have a Pokemon joke with the shop perpetually sells the bike, but it's always priced higher than you can possibly pay for it.
Yep. Well, within the normal game parameters, you can work around that, but
if you're cheeky, you can work around that. Yeah.
Oh, these are blowy boys. Okay.
Like them.
It's been a while since. Oh, I probably should have pointed out for every death. I think I'm just gonna pop $20 into donations.
Ooh, these are high stakes.
So, oh, we'll see. Who knows? I might just throw out some intentional deaths later.
Oh yeah, whilst I'm here as well, anyone in the chat, I am reading the main chat, so anyone who has any questions about the game or anything, I can answer questions, I guess. So my most predominant work on this was the art for the second art style. So Lenna's Inception actually has 2 entire art styles, which is a crazy thing to do if you're making a game, and I would never advise doing that. But if you do it, so this is kind of the kind of, I don't think we have a name, but just the 8-bit art style. It's kind of inspired by Link's Awakening. Comes with an 8-bit art, music track set. I worked predominantly on the 32-bit style, which is kind of inspired a bit more like by Minish Cap and Link to the Past. But then also I was involved with Tom with a lot of the kind of story beats and boss designs. I'm a big fan of making bosses, so.
All right, so this boss here is Tentaluchas. Also, we're only going to get one phase here. There's a little bit of a skip here. If you line up on a certain pixel, there's a phase that comes up here. The spin drill phase, or the spin drill attack, we can just completely, no clue why it works, but we can just tell the game no, which saves us a good chunk of time again if this works. There we go. And again, this boss does not have a second phase, which personally I've had issues with this boss's second phase, so it's good to see it.
It's a pretty tough second phase.
Oh, forgot one there. Okay, all right, we're good. Is the I guess I haven't been looking at chat. Is the game audio up loud enough? If it's not, let me know. I can always take a second to turn that up or anything if we need.
It sounds like it's good.
Cool.
Good. Yeah.
All right, so after boss 3, we start to kind of do things a little out of order. Instead of doing grab the dungeon item, fight the boss, rinse and repeat, we're actually just now going to be in item gathering mode. We're going to head into each dungeon, grab the item, and skedaddle on out of there. So for a chunk of the run here, I'm only going to have these 6 hearts. The reason being is the item that we get in the last dungeon completely negates the need to actually go through dungeons. It's by far the best item in the game. One of the best items, at least. So yeah.
It's funny as well. I'm not sure we've mentioned this before, but the actual function of why it's so good, I think, was either an accident or very last minute, and it was kind of a throw it in thing, and then we realized how fun it was. That'll make a bit more sense later on, but
yes. So we're trying to kind of keep it under wraps here.
Yep.
All right. So this is Dungeon 4. This is the Guild LLC. I don't actually start in the starting room of this dungeon.
Yeah, since the chairman drops you in unceremoniously. The chairman is kind of like the expected villain of the game. He kind of plays up the generic fantasy aspect of the game, and he's kind of overly transparently evil and doesn't really know what's going on with the wider kind of narrative. So he just kind of says a lot of banking puns and throws skeletons at you and turns up to annoy you, basically.
All right, so this is we're getting the jump item now here, akin to Rock's Feather, I suppose you could say.
Mm-hmm.
One of the more fun items in the game for sure.
Yeah, and this one lets you kind of jump over some of the regular walls in the overworld as well, so it's just a bit of a time save.
And one of the other categories for this game, Catastrophe, the jump, I believe is actually needed. There's a few items that you need, and there's a few items you can skip. This item actually lets us do a fun skip. One enemy here. Okay. It's a hover boy. Just one though, not too bad.
Yeah, so I think I mentioned earlier the kind of random effects of like tunics and potions, and as you get further into the game, monsters that are placed in dungeons can also have these random effects. And in some of the optional kind of cave dungeons that you find, where you can just kind of pick up loot, some of those can get a little bit crazy, and you can get flying, exploding poison monsters that are giant
healing and fire resistant and stuff.
We might still see some of them later on.
Yes. All right, so again, we got the item for that dungeon, and now we're out of there. Now we're following the chairman out east. I'm not exactly sure of the reason, but we're chasing him down. All right, how do I get here? Ah. This is kind of a fun little mini game, I guess, fighting the chairman on the bridge, and then it's just a bunch of tech smashing here.
This is kind of like the kind of halfway point in the kind of progression, and it kind of cuts off. So the island is divided into kind of two sections, joined together with a bridge, and kind of the biomes and environments are a little bit different, and things get a little bit weirder as you get onto the second island. So it kind of cuts off the point where things are pretty conventionally classic Zelda, I guess. It's fair to say.
All right. East, let's go.
Can I pop in with another donation?
Yes.
Go for it, yeah.
This seems like a kind of an important one. So we have $100 from Bitten Studio Tom. It just says, "Good luck, TRSCP."
Shout outs to Tom. Thank you, Tom. Tom, as we mentioned earlier, he is the developer on the game here, or one of the developers.
Yeah, this is all his insane will.
Heck yeah. This is Dungeon 5. I like so again, the art changes a little bit. The different dungeons have different the entrance, like the little building at the start, kind of shows you what it's going to be.
Yeah, they actually affect the palette as well. So there's kind of like themed overworld appearances for them, and then
I don't
those
think I've seen
will
this
have
purple one
corresponding
yet.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. I'm more familiar with playing it in the 32-bit, so yeah. But yeah, so you'll get like if it's like a kind of castle exterior, it's probably going to have kind of an ornate inside, and then if it looks like a kind of cave mine entrance, then it tends to be brown tones inside. Just a little bit of like, it just adds a little bit of flavor to it, you know.
Something else to mention, I guess, if it isn't already obvious, is as we go on, each dungeon actually gets larger. And the dungeon layouts, like the actual map patterns, change too, from seed to seed.
Yeah, this is all procedural. So it kind of has an end goal in mind, and it knows where to play, like the halfway point item, and then it kind of creates all the hazards and puzzles that go along the way.
All right. Still looking for this item here. Dungeon 5 really wants to send me on a trip, I guess. Oh, here we go. Found it. All right. And
There's no fire rods in this universe, only lighters.
Yeah, the lighter is the item that I'll be picking up here. It shoots fire like a fire rod, but then you can also do a dash like the Pegasus boots, which it's not really explained in the game, but you can actually use the dash and the boots. I'm sorry, the dash and the spring together.
Yes, it's kind of like a little Easter egg, and there's some pretty good skips that come with that as well.
Yeah, we're coming up on it's. I think a lot of players, the first time that they played this game, they just kind of pieced it together, and they're like, it'll be a little bit clearer when I get there. There's like a big jump that you can do, and we all just it just completely takes out a puzzle of the game here.
It comes very naturally, doesn't it, to have a dash and then have a jump in a game, and then try and figure out if you can combine those two.
All right, so there's the traveling salesman. I just want to see. I do not want that tunic. Oh goodness. There's a whole bunch of beneficial tunics, but then there's also some that are detrimental. That was the explosion tunic, and when you wear it, you literally just explode every couple of seconds.
It's not useful, to be honest.
It can be used for skips. It does have its place, but
That's fair. That's true.
it's for the most part, we don't want it. All right, this is Dungeon 6. Shoot, I think the item here is going to be the Strength Amulet. I believe I got that name right.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. And that way was a dead end. Something else that I do kind of keep my eye out for, we're probably going to skip it during this run, is the secret rooms in the dungeons. 4 through 8 all have a secret room.
Yeah. There's a selection of kind of hidden items that are completely optional, but ultimately still have uses in speedruns. There's one in particular. I assume you're not going for it in this run.
If it shows itself, I'll grab it, but I don't think I'm going to use it on the final boss.
Just because of the lack of spectacle.
Yeah.
So for clarity, there's a hidden revolver in the game that appears in a hidden room somewhere in one of the last 4 dungeons, and it has 1 bullet, and anything you fire it at will die instantly, and that includes the final boss.
It's pretty good, but you only get 1 bullet. You can't pick up any more.
And if you don't stumble upon it, you'll probably be chasing it down for some time. So, going after it and going out of your way to get it probably doesn't save you that much time.
Yeah, we finally figured out, like, when we first started using it, we're like, whoa, we can skip the final boss fight. This is awesome. But then we realized that the time spent searching for it actually it wastes too much time. So now we started skipping it. Also, I forgot I have the fire resistance tunic on, so these guys can shoot me all they want, and it's not going to hurt me. Which actually kind of makes this dungeon a little bit easier. They are kind of annoying because they do warp around.
Teleport around, yeah. Some of the monsters get a bit of a redesign in the other art style, so I'm so used to looking at these guys as big chameleons in cloaks.
Yes.
I just like drawing chameleons. Any excuse.
Can I pop in really quick?
For sure.
Well, you may have noticed if you're watching the stream, we just hit a nice round number of $2,500 raised for the OI Foundation. So that is incredible. Hopefully good work, everyone. And that particular milestone was reached by a $6 donation from KupoCraft with the comment "Rocket."
Rocket.
Rock it. Now, is that spelled
It's
like
being rocked.
RAWKET. Rocket is one of our admins.
Well, shout outs to Rocket. Thank you for helping me get this stream set up. I guess I'm just going to be sitting here kind of stabbing this guy for a second. Shout outs to everyone behind the scenes getting this thing running smoothly, for sure. You guys are doing an awesome job with all this.
Yeah, it's been great.
So we're out of that dungeon. We have the strength amulet, so now we can actually pick things up and throw them. And that'll be useful basically for fighting that one boss and any roadblocks in our way here. How do I get here now? I also forget that I have the this nice fancy lighter. So I should be using that to dash around to move faster.
Zip around. It's very satisfying.
There we go. I think this is the way. We're doing it, guys. We're making it happen. This last dungeon is going to be... I'm sorry, the 7th dungeon is going to be one of the last items that we pick up. The bow. Unfortunately, we get it late. Can be quite powerful, though. You can combine it with the bombs and potions if you want to kind of just shoot those around the room faster.
You can combine it with potions? That's genuinely the first time I've ever heard about that.
I could be wrong there. Maybe we can try it out later.
No, it sounds about right. I think anything you hold can be... It makes sense that you could shoot anything you could hold.
So in theory, we could pick up these shell guys. These guys are especially dangerous. They explode when you hit them, and explosions do a lot of damage in this game.
Yeah.
It's the picture of the explosion. So even if you walk into it after it's exploded, it still does damage. Gotta be a little careful around those.
It took me a long time to realize you could even pick up the shell guys. It makes a lot of sense. It just shows how much stuff I didn't know about this.
It's okay. You've been focused on making it look good.
There's a lot of weird little things in the game. There's a whole Lovecraftian text adventure that you can get if you call a phone number that you can get in in-game phone directory. And it doesn't do anything. It's just there, I guess. I guess Tom just wanted to make one.
Yeah. The tombs and tentacles.
Yeah, that's it.
I actually sat down one day and went through that several times because I was like, hey, maybe we can make this into a speedrun category, and then it just turns out that basically the spoilers, you just die a bunch in that. Like no matter what option you pick.
It's the true horror, you know.
That's, I mean, it fits the theme though, I guess.
There's a few. I think you passed one earlier. You passed like the hallucination cave, and there's a few little like mini side quests and side things. They don't really factor into this run. I mean, as far as I'm aware.
No, we're just mainly focused on the dungeons, yeah.
Yeah, but for like a 100% kind of true ending run, they all make an appearance.
That they do. It's actually really fun.
The run you're doing, the sacrifice run, is kind of like the conventional run through the game, right?
Yep. So this is kind of like your standard. Like everyone that plays this game, this is what they're going to do. Yeah,
we expect that everyone will play through and play this like this because this is a Zelda game. You have to play it like a Zelda game, and that kind of we play on that a little bit. But it's a good showcase of how the game is played typically, I guess.
I'm just having a heck of a time finding this item. I bet you it's down in this one square that I didn't go to. But such is the dungeon layout being randomly generated.
Yeah, especially in these late game dungeons that get real big.
Soon we won't have to worry about it though.
I got a couple more donations here while you're hunting around.
Heck yeah.
Got a $25 donation from Marquis Dan that says, here's 20 $5 so we can see double mother brain kill sorry donation reader.
Shout out to Marquis. Thank you for that donation.
It was probably pretty hard to type too, honestly.
I can imagine. Yeah.
And then we've also got a $5 donation from Nevik Link who says, "You're a wizard, Harry."
Yes. Thank you, Kevin.
There's a question in the chat from Tetrali who asked, were the multiple endings inspired by Undertale? No, because we wrote everything before Undertale came out, and it turns out there's a few things in this that once I played Undertale, I was quite annoyed because I was like, they beat us to it. I think it gets a little bit weird towards the end in a way that Undertale fans might appreciate.
Yeah, the perfect ending, that's the 100% category basically. Hey, we found them, and they're these guys are fun. Well, I hope you guys like giving money to charity because I'm about to maybe give up 20 more bucks here. Again, I might take intentional deaths later just
put on that bomb tunic, you know.
Yeah, put the explosion tunic back on. All right, so we have 7 of the 8 items, and now we're just gonna kind of rush our way through here down to the secret lab. I guess it's not so secret. No, it's a secret to everybody. Hey, Zelda puns.
There's a lot of Zelda puns.
And now we get to start doing the fun. Some fun routing here. This is one of the few areas that actually is not generated in the game. It's
this is kind of like a puzzle to let you use theoretically all the items you've acquired so far. However,
yes.
if you're a pro gamer, then you don't have to do that.
Skipped the book. Sorry, Paige. All right, so there's a whole left side of this dungeon. A good chunk of us have literally never seen it. I shouldn't include myself though, because I had to do it once for a catastrophe run. And here's the bomb arrows. It takes quick work of those guys, and we're just blazing through this place. So we literally skip half of it. It's basically you have to walk all the way around to push one block to be able to shoot something, or to get through to jump. Yeah, it's a big puzzle, like he was saying, to incorporate everything, but we just skip it. All right. I guess I should give a heads up. Dungeon 8 features some glitchy walls and stuff, so there might be seizure, epilepsy warning. if flashing things bother you. It's not going to be the full screen, but it will be the edges of the screen and some pieces in the middle. Just a heads up. All right.
I think you mentioned. Oh, carry on. Sorry.
Oh, yep. Just here's Dungeon 8.
Yeah, I think you mentioned the book earlier. So there's a little side quest with a character early on that you've skipped entirely, I believe, where you kind of pick up books as you go along for Paige, who is the town librarian. And then if you're going for like the full ending, that kind of factors in more. But if you see books dropping throughout the world, that's the context. They fall from the sky. I think a goblin drops them is the canon reason. Or a gargoyle.
We do talk to Paige, but that's literally just to get like the locations of the dungeons. Even though you can see them before you talk to Paige, you gotta talk to Paige. It's just you gotta do it.
You just gotta do it, you know.
We will actually not verify any runs that don't talk to Paige. I'm kidding. Speaking of this game,
Paige has a lot of fans in the community.
Yeah, she
like Paige. She's the only nice person on the whole of the island. In this case, it's the island of Pop Cheesy.
I'm digging the color palette here. This poisonous color palette here.
Pretty groovy.
All right. Let's use. Oh my goodness! I didn't stop to pick up the hammer. Sorry, Zari. There we go. Bomb arrows make pretty quick work of those. The gray, I believe they're called crab knights.
Yeah, they're just angry crabs who run sideways at you.
Oh my goodness, the lasso! I haven't seen that thing in a while. Wait, I can just go up here. Okay. So basically, we're looking for one more item, and once we find it, we're not doing any more dungeon searching. We're done after this.
Game will change forever.
The game will, yes. I guess I didn't really point it out earlier. It's a good time as any. We do have a page up on speedrun.com. All sorts of categories there, as well as community challenge that we're talking about earlier that we do in the Discord. It's all a lot of fun, and you know, a lot of it's pretty easy to learn. So if you do want to run the game, hop in, ask us questions. There's a spoiler chat, so if you want to not be spoiled, just don't look at that one. Everyone's pretty good about marking their spoilers too, so
yeah.
If there's things that you don't want to learn about this game, chances are you won't until you find it yourself, or you ask.
No, yeah, the community's been great, and we've made it as a dev team because we have a TV Tropes page, which is always the marker of, you know, having a real community. So I can quit now.
We can't have you quitting on us here.
I'm quite enjoying that there's a few people from the community who are realizing a few tricks just by watching you for the first time.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know that you
could.
could fire potions. It's not useful, but I didn't know it.
Yeah, unfortunately, so there's an item that you can pick up. It's completely.
I need you now more than ever I need you.
That shouldn't be making sounds. I'm sorry, guys. Actually, how did that make sound? What the heck? What was I saying here? The hammer is a completely side item that you don't have to get. Functions like bombs. It actually breaks the rocks for you. But that item is really handy for taking out these crabs here. Can I go back? I think I had a green key now, so I think I can go this way. I can't remember if there was a door over here. Sometimes Dungeon 8's just brutal, and of course we're in a marathon, so.
Can I pop in with a quick donation?
You sure can.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, we got a $25 donation from Anonymous with the comment, donating a penny for every pun in Lenna's Inception.
It will bankrupt you. You have to be careful, honestly.
Oh, goodness. They're not wrong, though.
Sometimes you got to worry about that with the marathon hosts, too.
Oh, gosh, yeah. All right.
I just want to quickly mention for everybody as well, our next run after this is get it up here. Mighty Gunvolt Burst, and they have a donation incentive that we still need to meet to unlock hard mode. It's currently going to be normal mode, but we want to unlock hard mode for the runner. Give them a little more of a challenge. It's only $45 to do that, so let's get those donations in for the next run.
Heck yeah.
Sounds like a good cause.
Heck yeah.
It's important that we
you can
make
just go
things
in the
hard
water.
for our runners, you know?
Sorry. Also, something else that I haven't seen yet is the secret room in this dungeon, with the walls all flickering and such. For whatever reason, the bombable wall that you can use to get into the secret room does not flicker. So it kind of sticks
It
out
gives
like
it away, though. It's helpful.
Oh yeah, it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. All right, we finally found it. Yes.
Here we go.
I hope I can beat this bat. Just kidding. Bat's like the one-shot enemy. All right, so we now have the missing glasses. Aptly named. The image used to be something else. Let's go ahead and show this off right away. So I can do anything now. I am the creator. If that was the revolver, that would have blown my mind. All right, so now we're gonna start backtracking and fighting bosses, and I have an inkling of a suspicion that it's right there. So as you can see, I can just warp around, screen wrap, which is another. I'm sure that's pretty common in a lot of Zelda games. Zelda 1, I know, has a lot of screen warping and stuff. It's a lot easier in this game. You just push a button and you just do it.
It's a game mechanic, you know?
This
Game is very much kind of a homage kind of to like Nintendo speedrun culture, and also like kind of the glitch culture that comes from these things. We kind of play into it.
All right. So now we're back to fighting bosses. This is Hattasia. Pretty straightforward fight. There is actually a little... There's a section of this fight coming up that used to kind of trick us out a little bit until we figured out that wherever that heart shows up on the screen, you just stand there. It's an illusion of choice.
Yep. And this is one of the bosses that will always appear in the final dungeon. So you always get the missing glasses last, which means that Hattasia always appears in the last dungeon.
And we have to use the glasses here to actually find Hattasia. On that screen there. God, what a soundtrack for this game, huh?
I think I prefer the... I guess the soundtrack was done by Joel Bayless, incidentally my brother. And I actually prefer the 8-bit mix to this track. I think it sounds super rad.
I forget the name of it, but the chairman's song when you first meet him.
I can't remember the name, but it's a very fun tune.
Both the 8-bit and the 32-bit are so good. They're so good.
The actual main theme of this game that kind of reoccurs through a bunch of the tracks came initially from the chairman's boss theme, so he kind of gave us a draft, and it had this dramatic kind of like hook that appears halfway through, and we said, right, isolate that bit of the track for a moment, make that the main theme of the game. It sounds awesome. and then that's kind of the origin of every reoccurrence of that point onward. It's a very kind of classic video game kind of soundtrack trope to have that kind of reoccurring theme that's kind of central to everything.
I am off the screen. You can kind of do some fun things with this fight. Hattasia has like a wind force that'll blow you back to whatever wall. But if you dash, you can move forward, or sometimes you just rise up off the screen. Almost missed the cutscene skip there. That would have been fun. So now we're gonna backtrack. We have that bike. Actually, first we have to visit the last area of the game first, and here we find out Delvin's a bad guy. How dare he?
Although Delvin has barely made an appearance at this point with all the skips. We'll leave context to those who are not speedrun.
Okay, so now I make a visit to the final area of the game, simply so we can use the bike later to get back to it. Just saves maybe a little bit of time, makes things a little bit easier. Doesn't really matter the order that you do it. So we're gonna visit TRSCrazyP House and dip right back out, and now we're gonna start using the bike and go back and fight all the rest of the bosses. Now, if you're wondering, I haven't finished the dungeon here. I mean, well, you've already seen me use the glasses, so all we have to do is just go out of bounds and just go find them.
Carissa in chat asks if the first boss, Azrafly, has a second form. No, Azrafly is actually the only one who's always guaranteed to be the kind of tutorial boss.
Yep.
So she doesn't actually have a second form, yeah.
1 and 8 are static, yes. I do wish that, you know, that would change a little bit, but at the same time, like, it's Azraflail.
Azraflail is pretty easy.
Alright, so this is Krabadon, and now you guys are going to see the second instance of a two-phase fight. Hatasia was the first one there with that, all the bats spawning and everything. And again, with the 8-bit and 32-bit art style differences, the second phase of the bosses look completely different.
Very much so. Krabadon was actually the first one we designed, so I think an earlier beta version of the game had a very different kind of set of bosses, and I kind of redesigned them with Tom, and then Krabadon in 32-bit was kind of the start of the kind of final variation on all the bosses that ended up in the final game. And this is a very classic Nintendo. You know, there's a monster with eyes in its hands. You gotta shoot the eyes! You gotta shoot the eyes, it turns out.
Unfortunately, this second phase is one of the longest second phases, but
yeah,
you can't have all 3 of the long second phases skipped. You can only skip 2 of them, so. We're almost done with this fight. Look at that! It's like I've played this game before.
Once or twice.
Once or twice. I hope I'm giving it a good showing here at the marathon. I'll let you guys kind of be the judge of that later, but hopefully so far. I think the only thing I've messed up on is Paige and orange juice. Alright, let's get out of here.
I'm a big fan of Tom's design for the second phase of Hedranul. That'll pop up.
We got the revolver. We don't need it. Just literally happened to find it. I'm just trying to get out of the screen so I can warp around and get up to the top of the map. If this is confusing for some of you guys, trust me, it is for me too. There we go. Is this Hydrangea? Oh, I need to get lower on the screen actually. So unfortunately I have to waste time to go out and come back in. Hydrangea is pretty fun. You were mentioning earlier the bases for the names. What's this one based on?
There's an angel called Hadranul, I think, and I think I just saw the name and was like, right, head, make a big head boss, because, you know, giant head bosses are, again, a staple. Sometimes the puns come first.
Oh, I kind of trapped myself in here a little bit. That's okay. Oh! Alright, so we need to leave one of these pots up. It just basically lets us skip a cycle in the second phase. Or you could have used that pot, I guess, too. You do that, you pick up this pot. And there we go. Boss done.
Ooh.
Now, I do have the revolver, and of course, we're watching a memory, I forgot. Having the revolver, I could theoretically use it on one of the bosses if somebody wants to pick a boss for me. Oh yeah, this is a perfect one to kind of get the backstory for the item here. For the missing glasses.
This is my favorite cutscene in the game.
So this is showing Stack Overflow, which is common when people do arbitrary code execution. If you guys haven't heard of that yet, here's him putting it into his fridge, into his inventory. As you can see, the Stack Overflow of 255. Item duplications.
It's incredibly obscure. It makes you wonder how many people know what on earth we're trying to do with it. You know what I mean?
And such, the missing fridge was created. Which, unfortunately, we... well, I guess now we see it in Sacrifice ending. Missing fridge is not something you see in this ending of the game at all. So I do have 2 bosses left. I've got. Did I ever go back and do 7? I'm gonna have to take a little stock here. So I do have 2 left. Oh, jump was 4. Do I want to use the cat? Who do I want to use the revolver on? That's what I need to figure out here. This map is... Let's go to the corners.
How many bosses do you have left now, I guess?
2.
Not too many. Okay.
Oh, that was our secret room row. Okay. No, it's not. Unfortunately, yeah, we do have to kind of wander around and find the boss. I didn't get the map. There's another secret item that we don't need.
You can shoot the chairman. Save some time.
Shoot which one?
The chairman.
Shoot the chairman? I could.
Clink is suggesting in chat.
All right, this is the fishtail. No, it's not. Which map is this? Is this a new map layout? Oh boy, now we're having fun. I don't think I've seen this map layout before. The game was updated, what, a week or 2 back now? Added a bunch of new stuff. Okay, I'm going around in circles here a little bit. I apologize again, guys. We gotta find this room.
You just have to think in 4 dimensions. It makes it easier.
You know what? I think... think in 4 dimensions. Alright. You know what? It's probably gonna be... No, it's not gonna be right in the center. Is it literally just right here? Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna shoot this guy, I think. Maybe. I have to leave the room again because I went into a corner. Oh boy. No, you guys want me to shoot Chairman. Chairman's a fun fight, though. Chairman's a fun fight.
You have to weaken chairman first, right?
Yep. So you have to do the tennis ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the revolver only works when an enemy is vulnerable. So like all these bosses, like say I'm doing no damage and then I do damage there. Just like Azurflail, like you have to like stun them sort of first before you can actually do damage. Same concept here. I'm sure I'm making this fight look...
It's a pretty straightforward fight.
I mean...
I like that in this art style, it's an ice cream cone? I don't think I've seen that before. He's actually an ice cream cone and his ice cream melts slowly.
Yep, it is pretty sick. So that was 5. I usually do these in reverse order, so the numbers always kind of match up. Alright. We're back on track, guys. Trust me, the game is only going to speed up after this. It starts out kind of slow, picks up a little bit, gets slow again, and then goes from there. So this... Okay. So I see where the boss is at, but I have to get to kind of a certain spot to get in without getting the key. Maybe if I do this... Go a screen over, and then a screen. Oh, I can just actually go right here. Never mind. Don't listen to me. All right.
Go time.
Some people's favorite boss. Again, kind of creepy looking. It's got a TV with an eyeball in it.
I think I drew this one a little bit cuter.
Yeah, this boss in 32-bit is a lot different, especially in the second phase.
And the second phase, of course, has a very upfront homage. That will be pretty obvious.
I need to make sure to go back and buy potions, too, before I get too far. Just in case.
Levon Firestorm says, it looks like Helmasaur King from Link to the Past. Yes! It's completely a homage to Helmasaur King. It's one of my favorite bosses from Zelda, so...
So the first time doing this casually, I didn't see that there was a little dialogue bubble above the boss. And also, this isn't a joystick, so I didn't know what to do. In 32-bit, it's a joystick instead of an eyeball.
Makes
Gosh,
it a little
that
bit clearer.
boss looks so weird, though, huh?
Very creepy.
Alright. So we can't skip the cuts, this little mini cutscene, but we can after this dialogue here. We now have the power of truth, I do believe is what we pick up there. And we're now on our way to the final section of the game. But first, potions. We're gonna go get some potions. Do I have money?
I'm stuck up.
I'm gonna get some more potion money. Let's just get some more potion money. Marathon safety, I believe they call it. All right. That should be plenty. Warp back in bounds. When you pick up the glasses, actually one of the things that it does tell you that doesn't make any sense is use the bicycle if you get stuck. That's actually the game telling you that if you get stuck,
You have to use the bicycle.
you can use the bicycle to get unstuck. You can't. It's very hard to soft lock yourself in this game.
Hopefully impossible. Maybe not. Who knows?
It's not something I really sought out to do or anything, but yeah, just use the bicycle and you're fine. All right, so now we got a couple potions. That should be plenty to get through this. This is my favorite part of the game. This has been routed by Quantum Zari. I believe he's got it down to like a minute or so when done optimally, which is crazy. The first time that you play this game, again, this section is not going to make any sense whatsoever to you.
It's very true.
But once you figure it out, yeah, when you figure it out, it's like, oh, that makes sense. That's kind of a new little skip that we started doing there. Let's put the lighter away. There we go. Whoops. All right.
I think early iterations of this were even more insane, and I had to convince Tom that no one's going to be able to figure this out. I'm breaking my brain. But still, it's still pretty tough, I think.
Yes. Like this section right here, just when like you actually see that all the rooms kind of line up like with screen wraps and stuff. Like this screen here.
And yeah, for clarity as well, this is one of the few kind of non-generated areas. This is kind of like a static location.
Oh, don't touch the blue swirlies. Do not touch those. All right. So we're closing in on the final rooms of the game here. We got so we don't see the screen, but down in the crypts of the palace here, there is there's two tombs next to each other for Edgar and Alan.
Yeah,
and we assume that it's those two that I just fought there.
That's correct. It's definitely those two.
Yes, confirmed by the
chairman
devs.
has taken over the castle and installed a kind of staff of skeletons, as is his wont to do.
All right, so we're gonna show off this fight a little bit. There's a big skip that I found early on too. Gammon turns into Mammon, and he shoots these bowls at you, which is like a stock market reference or whatever you want to.
Yeah,
it's all financial references and such, but we skip that. I'll show it off here on the next go round. If you just stand up here like this and you just jump into him, he just skips that phase, and it saves a lot of headache. All right, I was gonna show off the revolver here, huh? All right, get hit there once.
it's very apparent. You gotta have your Ganon analog do a bit of a tennis ball battle with the hero,
There you go. So I just shot him with the revolver. You can't see, there actually is a pixel on the screen that flies up.
Just one pixel, yeah.
So we just do that just to show off the revolver, just so you guys can see it. It's a fun item, but we're not using it on Delvin. We're doing this legit, I suppose. And here we are at Delvin. Gosh, the music's so good.
This is a great track. Delvin's second form, I think, is the only thing in the 8-bit style that I actually designed myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I have to rearrange my items here a little bit. All right. So again, we have the fire resistance tunic. So when he does this firing and stuff, it doesn't matter. We only take damage from him bumping into us and from these tentacles that aren't going to show up because I threw a bomb. The tentacles are similar to Tantaluchus's tentacles. Otherwise, this fight's pretty straightforward. I always get the vibe of the nightmare in Link's Awakening. Is that what it's called? The last guy that you
Yeah,
fight.
yeah, it is a little bit similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then he also, yeah, to an extent, his moves are all kind of reminiscent of moves of previous bosses, since he kind of has like the power of all the archangels. So his kind of tentacles are kind of like Tentalucius. His dashes are kind of like Santaquiel. So there's a few things like that.
And unfortunately, especially with the fire tunic here, we can just stand there and face tank.
The world map that he does fly over is actually a screenshot it takes of your world.
That's so cool. I love that aspect, actually.
You gotta have your dramatic flying final boss, you know.
Am I gonna do this with? I'm probably gonna have to use a potion here on the second phase, or the last phase, I should call it.
The final phase.
The final phase. It was a healing potion. No way. I should point out that
Surprise.
the first potion that's sold in the shop, like the top spot there, is always a healing potion. Just so, Tom's a nice guy. Yeah, these guys. All right. They start zipping around the screen again, and that's it.
Boom.
We got a little tight up there in Dungeon 8. If it's okay with you guys, I want to show the end credits after the game here. And we're coming up on time, for the record. Time.
Hurrah.
So I think if it's okay with you guys, I'm a little underestimate here. I would like to show off the end credits, if that's possible.
I think it's fine.
Sure.
All right. So that no spoilers. No spoilers. Okay. Sorry about that. I was clicking out of the game to pause my splits and stuff. All right. So here are the credits. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Joel, for this wonderful game.
Thanks so much for streaming. This has been great.
That was the credits, by the way.
Yeah, the credits are short. It wasn't a big team.
That's the...
There's only a few of us. It just took 8 years.
Again, thank you for having us here. It was fun showing off this game. We had 3 firsts. First time this game was in a marathon, my first time running a marathon, and Jay's first time on commentary. Hopefully we did all right. Again, thank you for having us. Thank you for... How much money did you guys... Oh my gosh, seriously.
Yeah, the community, like, really...
I think I was telling Gooby before. I was like, in my head I was thinking like, hey, if this game raises like $20, I'll be happy.
Dude, I was thinking like, $10. I'm pleased with that, but
and then here we are. How many hundreds of dollars later? I do want to show off again one little thing here before we go. I know we're basically at time here. This is 32-bit. 32-bit art style here, just to show it off real quick. I'm gonna hop into a game, and then I'll be done. So here we go. So this is 32-bit. As you can see, things are a little bit different here. Oops, and I died. So I guess that's $20 for charity.
Oh no, how bad.
There's built-in challenge modes for the game and stuff, so make sure to check it out. The game is on Steam. Join us in the Discord. Get on the speedrun.com page. And have some fun running. That's it for me, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks a bunch.